Are you ready to peek into the future of education? From AI-powered classrooms to personalized learning journeys, 2025 is shaping up to redefine how we teach and how we learn. So let's dive into the trends that will transform the way we think about education. As home educators and as parents who are looking at alternative ways to educate our kids, it's really important that we understand the trends that are coming up. Number one trend, and I love this, this has been something I've been talking about literally for years, and this is all based on research, really looking at what's going on in education and what our kids need to know to succeed. And this is an emphasis on lifelong learning. Now, students need continuous education to adapt to a rapidly changing job market. You guys have been hearing me talk about the global gig economy and the fourth industrial revolution for years. And if you haven't, you're going to have to go check out some of the YouTubes I've done beforehand, because I do deep dives into what are the emerging economies. And one of the things that is going to future-proof your kid is for them to have the ability to really learn on their own, become an autodidact. What is an autodidact? An autodidact is someone who can learn without formal instruction. Listen, our kids are going to live longer, work later in life, and that they're probably going to have between 13 and 15 different jobs, probably in various different sectors. So they really do need to become autodidacts. Now, if you're not familiar with me, my name is Lisa Nearing. I direct True North Academy. We offer 2nd through 12th grade live online classes, self-paced classes. We offer academic advising, equipping, and so much more. But I'm so excited to talk to you about trends in education. Education has been a huge part of my life for my entire adult life. I wrote a master's thesis on education. I've worked in education, alternative and not so alternative ways of educating for years, and love to be on top of what's coming and how we can address it as both parents and as educators. But the number one thing that you're really going to want to think about this year is how to help your kid become an autodidact, regardless of what educational institution you're using, whether you're public schooling, private schooling, or homeschooling your kids, or a combination of the above. Really helping your kiddo become an autodidact. How can you do that? First of all, foster a love of learning through project-based education and self-directed study. There's so much research on delight-directed study and how that really is motivating, right? If kids have buy-in and they can choose what they want to study, that's going to help keep them motivated. Another number one tip, this is a freebie, but you've heard me say this over and over too, turn off digital devices. Do this for a couple reasons. Number one, you want to allow your kids to have blank space without constant, just amusement and entertainment and data. You want to let your kids' brains rest a little bit, and you want your kids to get a little bit bored so they go out and find their own fun. But also, turning off devices helps your kids keep a sense of wonder. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you're scrolling on Instagram or any other Facebook, all the places, you can go from a cake recipe to somebody getting beat up to a humorous comedian to the State of the Union within seconds. And your kids have no way to discern what's important or what's not. So everything just becomes like ho-hum. Somebody getting beat up has the same relevance as baking a cake. And so turn off the devices so that your kids' brains can develop. They can start to understand what discernment is, and they can develop critical thinking tools. Also, it does really help your kids keep that sense of wonder that they had as a young child, because there's things to think about that they haven't seen already or been told what to think about. So turning off the devices is just a really great way for you to protect your child on so many different levels, but also help them develop the ability to become an autodidact. Encourage real-world skill acquisition. Things like pattern recognition, communication skills, both written and verbal, critical thinking skills, we just talked about that, and absolutely creativity. Autodidacts are very creative people because they're always thinking, oh my gosh, what is the next thing? What do I want to know about? How do I learn it? How do I apply it? How do I make a business out of this? How do I tell my friend about it? And so people who are autodidacts, they're very, very creative. So really, feed your kids creativity. And then also provide access to online courses and certifications that are relevant to prepare your kids for varied career paths. We're going to talk about this in just a few minutes, but not everybody needs a college degree, but your kids probably do need real world skill acquisition. In fact, they absolutely do need that. So they need things like math skills, writing skills, how to talk somebody into something, the sales skills. They need to know how to critically think about things and how to discern what's truth, what's valid, what's real, what's false, all those kind of things. Certifications, you can get them through Udemy and Coursera. There's other online companies that are very inexpensive. Go to your local trade school or community college. There are certifications there as well. Your kids don't always necessarily need a full-on degree. So number one trend in education for 2025, emphasis on lifelong learning. And I don't see this trend waning anytime soon. This is going to be a trend for years to come. Helping your kids develop the skills and tools they need to become an autodidact is going to be so very, very important for your kids. The number two trend I see happening is a rise in social emotional learning. Now, there's a book out called The Anxious Generation, and it has made a lot of waves. It's on my to-be read list. I haven't done it yet. But what it says is that since 2020, kids' anxiety has just skyrocketed, depression, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's this trend in helping our kids develop emotional intelligence and interpersonal developmental skills. In other words, as tech increases, emotional intelligence decreases. We've been talking about this at True North for years as well, but parents, you need to look for programs that teach soft and interpersonal skills along with academic skills. We talk about this in our teacher training at True North Academy all the time. We are not just teaching the kids the science skills or the English skills. We are teaching them how to interact with the teacher, how to interact with their students, how to persuade a teacher to consider a different grade. We are teaching them life skills along with subject matter skills. And if your academic program only teaches subject matter skills, like it's just passive learning and they're only learning that subject matter, for one, it's not going to have stickiness. They're not going to learn it long term. And for two, it's a very slim way to educate your kid. Your kid is a human being, not a human doing. And so you need to educate them in a holistic manner and teach them how to really have those kind of interpersonal skills that are going to help them overcome anxiety, help them overcome depression. Because we're not denying that we've seen it. The teaching staff, the admin staff at True North, we've seen it since 2020. We've been online since way before that. And so we are seeing a change in the students and just their ability to cope with the stresses that are coming at them. But we have got to teach our kids coping skills and mechanism. And these are skills that they can learn. It doesn't mean that if they're anxious, they're going to be anxious for life and there's nothing that they can do about it. They can overcome some of this stuff with the right skills. So we've got to find a way to teach that to your kids. Your kids, again, if you're just inputting information into their brains like they're a computer, you're not fully developing their humanity. And listen, computers are great at tasks. Humans are great at projects. And so your kiddo is not a task machine. They are a project integrator. And so give them more to think about and do. So how can we address this as parents? We can teach our kids some great tools like journaling and mindfulness. These are really great tools, honestly, to help quell their anxiety, to get themselves calmed down, just to think about like they have choices, develop a growth mindset. Also, give your kids opportunities to build resilience. You know what I mean? Let them do hard things. Now, a lot of us as parents, we want to protect our kids. And I've heard this more and more since 2020. They're anxious. So we're going to let them opt out of that. And I'm not saying push your kids to the point where they just can't handle it. I'm saying give them opportunities to make small wins so that they can make that large win and have a big win where they've overcome. And so we've got to give our kids opportunities to develop resilience. I have a video called How to Activate Peak Performance in Your Homeschool. It's worth a watch because it's January. Every year in January, I get calls from distressed parents. It happens without fail. Distressed parents all over the country, sometimes outside of the country, and it's usually a mom of a young man. They're like, my kiddo was so happy and fun, always did their homework, loved their little siblings, and they woke up one day, they told me they're never going to take out the trash again, they don't like their siblings, they can't stand the school that they're in, they don't really like me too much, and they just won't do anything. And honestly, I would say maybe that indicates a learning disability. Maybe they need more sleep, they need the phone out of their room at night, but it could be that they're bored and they need more to do and they need more opportunities to fail forward. And I don't mean fail, I mean do that learning curve where you're failing, 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 and all of a sudden you have the skills to super succeed. So a lot of our kids are needing more challenge than we're giving them, and that really builds resiliency. There's a lot of programs out there that can help you do that. Also, I would really highly suggest joining community service projects or creating your own to build real world social skills. It's interesting to me that when we're serving others, we don't really think so much about our own problems, but it gets easy to do in this age where we're kind of separated, and we have been since 2020, 2022 more than ever before, where we're just off in our own little silo and we get so wrapped up in our own issues and our own problems. But going out and serving other people can really help dispel some of that, and also really help your kids build those social emotional skills that they really need. Things like compassion, empathy, understanding how good they have it, right? We're going to do a podcast on this, but I read something that has really captured my imagination, and that is that as a middle class American, we have more wealth than a king in the ancient world. And it just makes sense, right? But just think about it. Running water, flush toilets, automobiles, fresh produce and fruit year round, healthy diet whenever we choose. I mean, we have so many choices. And I think sometimes when we have so many choices, it gets easy to think, oh my gosh, look how hard I have it because I'm not a multimillionaire. When in reality, we have so much compared to so many other people throughout all of time. So just community service can be just such a great skill and tool for your kids, and your kids need it. This is one of the trends going on in education right now, is that there's going to be a more focus on social emotional learning. You can do this so easily in your own home, regardless of if you're public, private, online, homeschooled, or whatever combination that you choose. The third trend in education, I'm going to take a drink of tea here real quick. And I've been posting about this all year if you've watched our Facebook pages. More colleges are going to close, merge, or show financial distress. We've been posting about this all year because it's a trend that is not slowing down. There are more colleges closing or merging due to declining enrollments and financial struggles. And starting in 2025, there's going to be a huge drop in high school graduates. That's going to exacerbate that trend because the baby boom is over, right? And so there's fewer graduates, there's just fewer kids. So as we're getting our kids ready to go to college, if that's a goal for you, you need to really look at the financial health of whatever institutions you're considering for your kids, because if the school closes and they're not accredited, they're going to lose those credits, etc. But you really want to research the financial health of any college or university that you're considering for your kids in the coming years, because it's not just little no-name schools that are closing. You want to steer clear of colleges with signs of financial instability, because as schools are dying, and some of them are, they are going to be less academically rigorous, they're going to have failed communities, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not just about the academics, but it's about the whole milieu of the college that your kids might be going to. You want to prepare your kids to have flexible plans as they graduate from high school. Include backup options such as trade schools, certifications, community colleges, or online degrees. And don't overlook the dual degree program at True North, where your students can earn an entire accredited bachelor's degree while they are earning a high school diploma from home. So that is one of the reasons why we decided to go ahead and offer this program, because of what we see going on in the colleges and universities. Along with the colleges closing, and this is particularly for parents with girls, but with boys too, there's going to be a gender imbalance in college admissions, because the trend is that male students are going to likely gain admission to college due to lower application rates of men applying to colleges, and except in male-dominated majors like engineering and computing. Currently, there are nearly 3 women for every 2 men in colleges, and the colleges are graduating way more women than men. Over half of all college students who start their freshman year drop out before they graduate, so dropout rates are just crazy. The churn in colleges is just out of control. Any other business, I mean, this is one of the reasons they're failing, let's be honest. In any other business, it would just be a death death knell, and it is for colleges. But it's something to think about, especially for those of us with young women in our home who are applying to colleges, that men are going to get an acceptance letter faster than a woman because of the lack of men applying to colleges for degrees. So how can you address that? Well, male students should consider liberal arts majors where they're going to have a competitive edge unless they're really bent on going into engineering or computer sciences, traditional male kind of industries. Female students should ensure a balanced college list and showcase strong extracurriculars and academic achievements, as well as consider other options. Like the dual degree program at True North. The other thing I just want to encourage all students, we talk about this at True North all the time, is to develop your students' standout factor. Now, a lot of kids have really excellent academic transcripts, but listen, colleges get hundreds, maybe even thousands of really excellent college application transcripts a year. And so you want something that's really going to help your students stand out. What have they done that is exceptional? Have they done hours and hours of community service? Did they start a program? Are they an athlete? Are they an exceptional speaker? What is going to make your students stand out? We have a lot of resources for you on this. If you're interested, let us know and we can shoot you some of those in a comment, or you can just send us a private message. I think it's really important for our kids to have a standout factor, more so than ever before. Along with college conversation, let's talk about how more colleges are going to reinstate standardized testing. And I knew this was coming because this is the deal, and it always has been. Even when colleges said, hey, we're not taking testing, it's not a big deal. Here's why they did that. When 2020 happened, those standardized tests, the ACT and SAT, they were only available in person. And listen, it's a $1 billion industry. The testing industry is a $1 billion industry, so they didn't want to lose that money. They had to pivot and go online really quickly. They're all online now, and they want that money back. And so listen to this. Having a standardized test with a high score is the fastest track your kids can get to scholarship dollars. So it's not to be overlooked. I've been saying that since 2020, like take the test, take the test, take the test. But now the schools are saying they have to take the test. Back to business as usual, because back to $1 billion business as usual. That's how that goes. So how can you address it? Prioritize test prep using resources. There's free ones like Khan Academy, College Prep Genius with Gene Burke is our personal favorite. Take practice tests, get private tutoring. Build a timeline for test prep and test well in advance. Your kids can take the ACT and SAT up to 12 times. The best score is the one that gives them the scholarship dollars that they want and that they need. And you know, College Prep Genius, our friend Gene Burke, she talks about how you can get college for free with the right test score. So I always say with ACT, your best score is around 3 times taking the test. She says it's the best test for the number you need for the dollars that you want. So anyway, build that into your high school program if going to college and getting it paid for is really important for you, because that is going to be a high priority for colleges, is to make sure that the applicants have the test scores in their application packet. And you know, there's a lot of free resources to you. If you need help with who do I go to, how do I get help, let us know and we can send some of those to you. Okay, we're going through these pretty fast. Number 5. There is going to be an Ivy League backlash and rise of public universities. Now, the Ivy Leagues, they have been, when the Ivy Leagues are in trouble, we need to take note of that. Let's just be honest, because that's where the leaders come from in the United States and around the world. Let's be honest, world leaders send their kids to our Ivy League schools for a reason. They've been the place to network, they've been the place to build wealth, they've been the place to build communities. But the Ivy Leagues are in trouble for a number of different reasons, and so there's going to be a rise in public universities. Ivy League institutions are in trouble because they are elite, they've had so many lawsuits, they're low in transparency, and so there's just a lot going on there. But public universities, particularly in the South, are gaining popularity for their affordability, their honors programs, and their balanced atmospheres. I don't know if you guys know this, go check out my College Dilemma YouTube, where I talk about how most college professors are very left-leaning. They're left-leaning of the left. So when your kids go to college, we're not talking about left professors or, you know, blue professors. We're talking the left of the left. We're talking radical left. And so a lot of the Southern universities and the state universities, they have more balanced atmospheres, let's be honest. Not all of them, but they're not going to be that elite global kingpin kind of attitude where we're the ones who know everything and nobody else does. How we can address this: explore large public universities with robust honors programs for your kids. Now, one of the great things about hold please just a second. Could you plug in my computer? I didn't realize I was losing power here. I need to plug in the computer really quickly. But Ivy Leagues, they're still a great place to make connections and stuff like that if that is high importance for you guys. But don't overlook your state institution. A lot of times they're a lot less expensive. I do want to kind of balance that out, because if you have a student, thank you so much. If you have a student with the test scores and the application, and like for instance, if they're a Native American from South Dakota, they're going to get a free ride at an Ivy League. So you don't want to completely roll it out if you have that kind of student. But definitely, absolutely look at state universities and build a really good list for your kids about colleges to consider. Consider state residency advantages, especially for the cost, etc. And then make sure that your kids have other ideas instead of just like they have to go to college or their life is over. Again, think about all the other opportunities. There's credentialing programs, there's college while you're in high school at True North. Here we go, we've got it for you. And there's other opportunities besides just a traditional college path for your kids. Want to switch really quickly and talk about tech. There's going to be a growth of artificial intelligence and personalized learning, and AI can really provide a customized learning path and real-time feedback for your kids. Now, there are online programs which only utilize AI. Like, you can go pay for it, your kids interact with AI. That is the program. Here's my concern with it. And listen, we use AI at True North all the time, like almost on the daily. But my concern with a complete AI generated academic program for your kids is your kids are built for human interaction, not pixelated interaction. And so if they're only interacting with an AI, they're not interacting with a person, and your kid's brain needs a person. So as much as I love AI, I think it needs to be tempered with wisdom as far as what you use it for in your academic program with your kids. All that being said, I'm going to do that. There are some great AI-powered platforms that are really allowing you to personalize learning experience for your kids, create gamification for your kids, and they're just super fun and engaging. I would just use it with limited capability and not make that the bulk of your kids' academic program. And listen, our kids are going to use AI in the future. At True North with our English classes, and we have other tech classes that we're introducing this fall. Many of them are going to be taught by Debbie Curdy, who has a big history in this. The reality is our kids are going to live and work in an AI world. And so we're using AI. We want to teach them how to use it. We want to teach them how to use it responsibly. We want to teach them how to reference it. We want to teach them when not to use it. We want to let them know that if they put their name on a completely AI generated piece, that's called plagiarism. And so that's part of what we're doing at True North. Again, back to those life skills. They're baked into our program because our kids, again, they're human beings. They're not human doings, and they're not just task machines. They're project managers, and so we want to teach them how to manage the project of their life, right? So AI is going to be a deal in the future. We don't want to overlook it, but we do want to help our kids understand the power of it, and how to use it really responsibly. And then along with that is the popularity of virtual and augmented reality in learning. And we actually use this at True North as well. Our World Geography class, which is one of our most popular classes, and you should check it out if you don't have a good World Geography class for your kids to take. The kids take virtual field trips around the world. That's just it's baked into the program, and it always has been. And then they also do deep dives into Google Earth. So these are real world skills for your kids, and they have so much fun doing it. It's a very project-based program, so it incorporates a lot of what we've just talked about, is how to really incorporate these trends into real-world learning for your kids. Collaborating with other kids in education to share tech resources or tech classrooms like we offer at True North Academy. One of the things that we talk about all the time is how can our classes collaborate? You know, our German class, they collaborate with a English class in Germany, and so those German students are talking with those those English learning German students are talking with our German learning English students on the regular. And we've had that program in place thanks to Dana Hanley for a couple of years now. And it's super popular. By the way, German is already filling up for fall 25-26. So if you want to get into the section and the class that you want with Dana Hanley, you need to choose that sooner than later, because we're not guaranteeing that multiple sections are going to be offered. But I digress. We do that with a couple of our programs. ASL, we have a deaf interpreter come into the ASL class on the regular to speak with the kids. And so doing collaborative projects like that, that's a wave of the future. That's a trend. Also, using gamification, which we incorporate at True North, that's also a trend and a wave of the future. And we've been on that for several years. We're going to continue to use that. Histopoly, our middle school history class taught by Julia Jinks, she created this Histopoly game for the kids to play throughout the year, where it's like Monopoly but for history, and I'm super excited about it, as is she. It's going to be a fantastic class, and her junior high, middle school lit and comm class goes along hand in hand with that, so integrated learning. So those are the main trends for 2025. Those are 8 of them. A couple of them I blended together because, you know, they're kind of the same thing, but you know, it's stuff that we've been talking about for a couple of years at True North, and I think we're going to see more and more of the same. I don't think there's going to be a lot of new trends. Of course, there's going to be new tech, but these trends are going to hold pretty fast. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Trump in office. He's you know, promised to get rid of the Board of Education. And so we'll see how that goes. I think some of us would cheer about that, because personally I believe that education needs to go back to the local communities and be in the hands of the community that is raising the kids, not in some government institution thousands of miles away who don't know the kids who are being educated. Just personally, I think, yeah, that would be a better idea. But I've been talking about that for years too. I'd love to know what you think are the trends in education. What are you really looking at? How are you going to incorporate that into the educational model that you're using? If you're looking for a different educational model than what you're currently using or have used in the fall, we would love to talk to you. Our classes begin January 6th, next week. Next Monday, our classes begin for spring semester. It's a 15-week semester. We offer math, science, English, history, 7 foreign language, marketable electives, and we have a lot of spring classes. But you can also jump into some of the full year classes. And don't overlook that dual degree program, because we have students who are starting in January. They're going to take a combination of live and self-paced classes, and they will have a year of college done by fall. So we'd love to talk to you about that. If you're interested in it, just send me a PM or leave a comment. You can head on over to the website at truenorthhomeschool.academy and start a chat. That chat comes to a real person, and we'd love to connect with you. Happy New Year, everybody. I am so excited about this coming year. It is going to be a great one. And of course, our fall catalog, our 25-26 catalog, is live. We've already sold several packages and classes for the 25-26 school year. I have a blog post about our most popular classes. If you're interested in our most popular classes, don't wait. Register today. You can do a 3, 6, or 10 class bundle, and we have a new Core 4 program where you can buy Math, Science, English, History. Of course, it's personalized for your student, and it's a great way to get the core classes done, and then you guys have all the fun doing the electives however you do them. We also have a brand new to us Bible bundle, which is basically a BOGO, buy one, get one free Bible class bundle, and we have a self-paced class bundle. Whoa, I'm so excited about this. Our self-paced classes have been super popular. We introduced a handful of them in the summer. We added more in the fall. We've got more coming, and they are so great. And it's just a really good way for you guys to earn credits for a really lower price point than our live classes. We have so many people who are doing a combination of live and self-paced. So if you have any questions, we would love to talk to you about how True North can serve your family in the coming school year. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you're having a great one so far, right? And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.